AMC stock family, we've been talking about the month of August for an extremely long time. The hard work pays off, the due diligence pays off, and especially the news pays off. I just want to say congratulations to all of us. This is not even the end. This has never been the end. I will still continue to buy and hold AMC stock. It is one of my largest positions as of right now. It is one of my favorite reopening plays, and let's just continue what we have been doing. Let's continue to talk about the news and the due diligence. So in today's video, we will be talking and discussing about how AMC stock can apparently go to $800,000 a share. We're going to be talking about the algos, or in other words, the algorithms, and we're also going to be talking about how the SEC is now on our side. And it's not just the SEC, we have more institutions on our side. In the previous videos, we talked about Charles Schwab and JP Morgan. Apparently, they ended up buying shares of AMC. Can you guys believe that? And indeed, even the state of North Carolina, the treasurer of North Carolina, which is an official state of the United States, they ended up buying AMC stock just about 2 weeks ago. Did they know that the mother of all short squeezes was going to happen? And did they know that AMC stock was going to have a short squeeze 2.0? We will definitely discuss that in just a few minutes, but first, let's read. So supply and demand move stock. This has got to be one of the most significant concepts in the market. Supply and demand. We have the supply zones where a lot of people liquidate their positions, and also we're going to be talking about Citadel, the one and only Citadel, and how they also have a lot of supply right now because they are in need of liquidation. We'll get to that in a few minutes. And demand moves stocks. As people buy, the price goes up, and as people sell shares, in other words, when people bet that the stock is going to go down because that's how they make money, the stock subsequently goes down as well. So there is a parallelism between that. And so they do have a pretty good correlation. Simple, right? In a short squeeze scenario, the shorts are demanding a lot of shares in one go. The issue for them is if there isn't a lot of supply, aka people selling. This author has got this line exactly right. One of the concepts that a lot of people don't understand when it comes to short selling is that you cannot have a short squeeze. So you can't have a short squeeze 2.0, and you can't have a mother of all short squeeze for AMC unless there is a high interest of the amount of short sellers. We talked about this just in the last video, and we were getting excited because we had heard that Citadel was possibly going to get $500 million from Melvin Capital. One of the concepts that we highlighted was Citadel could have used that $500 million for one of two situations. Situation number one, they would reinvest that money back into their selling position, which may be one of their highest positions, which is AMC stock. And then scenario number two would be they would keep that money to the side, in other words, rebuilding their cash for their balance sheet, because right now they lost 2.7, I believe, billion dollars, and $2.7 billion, no one knows just how much an effect that is going to have on Citadel. Is that a lot of money to them, or is that just a tiny bit of money? Regardless, it may just be used as cash on the side and to rebuild their hedge fund, to rebuild their portfolio, because Melvin Capital is currently underwater about 40%. But again, we don't know how much $2.7 billion means to Citadel. After all, they do have tens of billions of dollars, and if not even hundreds of billions of dollars. Now, continuing on, we have a possibility. What is this possibility? Well, we now know that we own more than the entire float of shares, and this means that they may only be able to close out of the short position if we sell. Think about that. They should not be able to buy without us selling. They will have to buy our shares at whatever price we give them. Do you understand? So if no one sells at $10,000 a share, it is going to go well above $10,000 a share, and until a lot of people pay per hand. If things went perfectly, this scenario would play out, and this scenario would work. However, margin calls. AMC stock rises quickly. People are not selling. We have $10,000, $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, even $800,000 a share. Now this would happen in case of a margin call. And the author of this Reddit discussion, he does highlight margin calls because Citadel, this is going to be one of their biggest problems, and it's not just Citadel. This actually happened with Melvin Capital. And so Melvin Capital, guess what guys, 43% underwater. That is no joke. Almost half of the hedge fund is gone just because they ended up betting against the retail traders. And what subsequently happened to GameStop? We had a rise from $40 a share to $500 a share. Similarly, AMC stock has a pretty much identical situation other than the short float. We know that GameStop did have a smaller short float, which means that there was less supply, or in other words, there were not as many shares. That's why GameStop had a higher likelihood of going up even faster. Whereas AMC stock, from the beginning, the float was much larger compared to GameStop. And I know they ended up doing dilutions, which actually made the float increase even more. And so when you have more of the float increasing, you have more shares outstanding. More shares outstanding is going to make it more difficult to move a stock. But all that is truly irrelevant when you have margin calls. These margin calls with the hedge funds, we know they have thousands upon thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of shares. And as soon as they decide to buy back their shares, because as of right now, the indication that we're getting from these hedge funds is that they have a lot of selling position. You cannot cover your position and you cannot close your position unless you buy it back. That is the point of this margin call. If all these hedge funds start having margin calls, they all have to click the buy button. So just think about it. Buy button times 1,000, buy button times 100,000, etc., etc. That will create the short squeeze 2.0 for AMC that we have all been waiting for. And with the recent increase in AMC stock going from $31 a share last week all the way to almost $40 a share this week, and the week has just started, I believe, and I said this in my last video about Friday, I said that AMC stock is already looking extremely bullish, and the hedge funds have probably already lost some decent amount of money from last week to this upcoming week, because even last week the price went from $31 a share to $34. That was pretty deceiving, and that's why I said AMC stock is one of my favorite stocks, because it continuously decides to trick all the hedge funds just when you think that AMC stock has lost all of its momentum, all of its volume, which I never believe in. I always believe that there is a movement behind AMC stock. I mean, when you take a look at the members in this stock, I remember when there was 380,000 members for the AMC stock Reddit thread. There are 413,000 members in just less than a month. So I'm not really sure where the argument is coming from when these hedge funds decide to say that the volume will be gone. Where's the volume being gone? I understand the volume is not as much as it used to be, but it certainly still is here. And people start selling, then it will go to the opposite direction as we are selling at a faster rate to the people buying, and the stock will rapidly fall. $800,000, $700,000, and then continuously decline. Just another side note, there will be volatility halts unless they change the rules in a squeeze scenario. So the price will stop moving for about 10 minutes before going up or down again. This has never happened before, and this is not a normal event. And just to clear up what this author, I believe, is saying is that in this paragraph right here, when he says people start selling, that is after the margin calls. That is after the AMC short squeeze occurs. Or at least that is what I'm inferring based off what he's saying, because he says that people will start selling, then it'll go in the opposite direction. Well, that comes after this margin call, which he says will make the stock price go to at least $10,000 a share, and then the highs of $800,000 a share. If you thought $800,000 was an insane price, well then take a look at this, because this author decides to say that AMC stock to the $600 a share range. He says take this with a grain of salt, but if he and I read about this, we could see a mother of all short squeeze within a week or two. If you go back and reference the first chart I posted, you will notice that cycle 1 takes 4 months to complete. Cycle 2 takes 3 months to complete. It's moving faster and faster each time. Cycle 3 will not need that long to complete if the gains are exponential. And if AMC stock goes to the $600 range, it is over, folks. Here's what makes it even better. Both exponential and a more linear gain both indicate that AMC stock is going to several hundreds of dollars. If it's a more linear gain, then it'll just take a little longer than the exponential gain. So linear meaning a straight path to the upside, whereas exponential, it does take a little bit of time to consolidate. For example, if it were to be exponential, it would take a little while to form, and then out of nowhere, it would just decide to increase like no other. And everyone would be so confused how it happened, but the due diligence is right in front of us, folks. We have to continuously keep ourselves updated on the news on a day-to-day basis. And if you guys have not shared this video already, make sure you guys share it with your fellow AMC investors, because at the time when AMC stock decides to short squeeze, then that is the time everyone is going to start regretting that they wish they got into AMC stock earlier. But now is the chance to get in, and we've been continuously mentioning this for the past few weeks. When AMC stock was at $28 a share, who was here? It just seemed like everyone was downing each other. But now since the price continuously and steadily decides to go up after we reassured the AMC stock family, it's okay guys, there's no reason to stress. This is one of our favorite reopening plays, and the price will start steadily going up as long as there are no paper hands. You should be building up your conviction on a day-to-day basis. Conviction will make you have a much stronger and resilient holding in the stock, and the amount of selling will be extremely limited. So I know that most people don't like setting dates, but that is relevant at this point. This whole short squeeze play revolves around an expectation, so I'm standing firm on this theory. And there's going to be more data though to confirm that we're at the right time frame. But as of right now, he is most concerned about the time frame. He is still not concerned about his price prediction that he is giving around the $600 share range. What are your thoughts about AMC after the insane bullish rally that we had today, which we indicated in the previous video that AMC stock looks like it is having signs of reversal? Now with that being said, AMC stock family, again, thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys next video.